As a year comes to a close, people tend to recollect on the past. What follows in this video is my recollection of the last year and all that has happened. 2012 in gaming will be remembered for a great many things. Of that, I am sure. For one, Kickstarter has become a viable means of funding a video game without the sometimes oppressive observance of a publisher. People can now give money to a developer for them to fund a game that no publisher would ever want to invest in. Those people will receive copies of the game and other rewards based on how much they donate. The majority of gamers seem extremely excited for this new method of funding in hopes that it will restore the days of infinite creativity, while more pessimistic gamers see Kickstarter as an inevitable source of disappointment. A few failures have been seen already, Haunt being the most publicized. However, it is still too early to tell whether or not the gaming world will fall into a crowdfunding revolution or remain dependent on the resources of publishers. Kickstarter or no, it is apparent that we have entered into an indie gaming renaissance. It started quite a while ago, yeah, but now it seems that gaming culture is increasingly exposed to independently developed games. It's to the point that a small team of creative and skilled minds can craft a video game that generates sales of over 1 million copies, as it should be. With games like Fez, Legend of Grimrock, Dear Esther, and a whole ton of others, this renaissance kept on going throughout 2012. Here's hoping that it continues onwards into 2013. And if you haven't seen it yet, go watch Indie Game the Movie. It's really good. However, not everything that happened this year was wonderful and good. Some influential players in the video game industry have decided to move on. Cliffy B left Epic Games, and Peter Molyneux left Lionheart. Those guys are probably still going to do video games, so most tragically in my eyes was the loss of the BioWare doctors from gaming, period. Ray and Greg felt that it was time to retire after the release of Mass Effect 3 and the announcement of Dragon Age 3. Ray says that he retired so that he could start a new chapter in his life and pursue new entrepreneurial challenges in other industries. But I believe that may have had something to do with the incomprehensible volume of enraged gamers after they witnessed the ending of Mass Effect 3. I suppose it doesn't really matter why they left, though. They're gone and they're gonna be missed. But let's talk about that Mass Effect 3 ending a bit more, as it's a little more important than you may have thought. After all the choices, after all the Mass Effect fans saw, after all they did, they gazed in astonishment at the stunning conclusion to the trilogy. They then went on the internet and complained, rightfully so, that the ending was inadequate, that it didn't make sense, and that it was not influenced at all by the choices they had made throughout the series, which was a feature that BioWare had promised since the beginning. The angry fans felt cheated, and to voice exactly how furious they were, they raised around $30,000 for Child's Play within 24 hours to convince BioWare to change the ending of their game. Complaints even went to the Better Business Bureau, where gamers said that BioWare had lied about the impact of player choice. This was called the Retake Mass Effect movement. At this point, it transcended simple fanboy rage and entered into a somewhat philosophical argument concerning whether or not a piece of art should be changed to please people. BioWare eventually caved in and changed the ending with a free extended cut DLC, which diminished the artistic integrity of Mass Effect and did nothing to quell the army of angry fans. The Better Business Bureau, however, decided that BioWare had not misled the people about the game. To this day, fans can still be seen posting anger and disappointment towards BioWare. Personally, I thought the ending was okay, and that the game was the real problem. But let's go back to new and exciting things. New things such as the release of a new handheld platform and a new console. The next generation is finally upon us. The Nintendo Wii U was released, showing off a tablet controller that should provide some new gameplay innovations, but it might not. The launch games seem to consist of ports of other console games. This might indicate actual third-party support of the console, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Sony released the PlayStation Vita, the sequel to the PlayStation Portable, which looks pretty darn cool. I haven't had a chance to touch it, but I hear it didn't have much of a software launch either. I'm sure that these problems will be mitigated in the future, though. What is a little bit more interesting, though, is that Valve announced that they wish to hop into the console race. With Steam as a competitor, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft may have to rethink some things. Or perhaps not. Unfortunately, this section of recollection is surrounded by a mist of speculation about the future. In terms of the games themselves, 2012 was pretty good there as well. The big releases are still largely connected to number next to their names, such as Halo 4, Mass Effect 3, Black Ops 2, Far Cry 3, Resident Evil 6, and Assassin's Creed 3. Final Fantasy XIII 2 tops them all, as it contains multiple numbers in its name. There are some new independent properties thanks to Dishonored and... well, that's it, I guess. A revival of strategy game classic XCOM was released and did very well. Other than that bunch, we had a large number of HD remakes and re-releases of games from the past. 2012 was an alright year in terms of games, I suppose. And that's 2012 in gaming. It was a year which has the potential to be the beginning of an era of change and innovation in the industry. Whether or not that potential will be realized will hopefully be discovered in 2013.